Buonasera a tutti, studenti e genitori. Thank you for taking your time, and thank you to MB Scamby for the opportunity to present our program here in Burnaby. Burnaby has been very blessed to have hosted Italian students for over 15 years. And in fact, MB Scamby was our very first agency in Italy about 17 years ago. So we have a long and successful relationship with MB Scamby. I recommend them 100% if you're going to send your child abroad, no matter where you're going. Please choose wisely. Anywhere you choose in Canada is going to be a great experience for you as a student or for parents, and the support that you'll get from the public school districts in Canada. So I'm going to go very quickly, and I'm going to try and share my screen here. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this PowerPoint, and then our lovely student Alessandro, who was here for a year last year, is going to talk about his experiences there. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, is that working?
Yep.
Okay, so just to say welcome to Canada, as we talked about. Burnaby is on the west coast of Canada, so we're very mild climate. We are in the center of Greater Vancouver. So this is an area of about 2 million people, and as you can see, we're right next door to Vancouver, which is about 25 minutes away by public transportation. The little dots you see here around here is our metro, called our SkyTrain, and that's what students use to get to and from school, up to the mountains, over to the ocean, in and out of downtown Vancouver, etc. 5 great reasons for you to choose Burnaby for your experience abroad. The first one is, even though that we are in the middle of an urban environment, we have a lot of nature at our doorstep. So lots of parks and lakes and mountains. Safe, welcoming neighborhoods. You will stay as everybody else in a homestay, a Canadian homestay. These are just some shots of our area here. I apologize, I'm going so fast. Skiing is amazing in the Burnaby area, so only less than an hour away by public transit. We have 3 low ski mountains, one of which was used in the 2010 Olympics. So I think this is probably one of the only places in the world where you can actually see the city and see the Pacific Ocean in the background. I think the main thing for Burnaby are our strong academics. So we do have one of the largest advanced placement programs in Canada, but one of the things for Italian students is that there's a much bigger demand now for graduation. And I think Alexandra mentioned about graduating in a year. So when we started with our Italian students over 15 years ago, they were coming for a term or a semester. But now I would say about 70% of our Italian students are coming with the intention to graduate in a year or in a summer, depending on the level of their English. And about 30% are coming for 1 semester. We are the only school district to offer Latin and Ancient Greek, and this is a special class that we put on only for our international students that need those courses. If you're coming from a Liceo Classico, for example, and you're going back into your 5th year in Italy, and you have to continue on with those subjects. This is a free class after school once a week, and generally it's for our Italians, our Germans, and our Austrians, because nobody else has the pleasure of doing Latin and Ancient Greek anymore, other than those three countries, I think. Also, it's good to know that we do have a very strong Mandarin program here in Burnaby, and some of the universities and schools like Coney, for example, They want their students who are on the Mandarin track to come and get a practicum experience in Burnaby, and we are very popular for that program as well. We are strong in the visual and performing arts, so like everybody else has explained to you, there are lots of different courses that students can choose. If you are planning to graduate, however, there are specific courses that you must do. They are required courses for graduation. So you don't have a wide range of other options that you can do, but there's usually 2 or 3 different what we call elective courses that you can choose beyond the required academic courses for graduation. We're very strong in sports in Burnaby, particularly in basketball right now, volleyball. We do have some soccer academies and volleyball academies if you want to do that sport more seriously while your stay is here. But again, if you're here to graduate, because these sports take away from some of your school time, you won't have time to do both. When COVID is finally under control again, we will do a lot of different excursions for our international students outside of school time so that you can explore the local area, over to the Rocky Mountains, over to Vancouver Island, for example. We do have excellent support for our international students while they're here. And that's because, you know, the students are here without their parents. And even though there are lots of other supports for you while they're here, it's not quite the same. So we have to make sure that in school and out of school, there are specific people that you as a student or your child can go to for any reason. So every school has an international student assistant, and that's one of my team. And they're like the mum or dad for the international students at the school. So the students can go to them for anything at any time. And they'll meet those ISAs during orientation. Of course, like all public schools, there are school counselors. We have a vice principal of international at every school. Burnaby has 2 homestay coordinators, a school nurse, and all of those liaise with my office, my team. In Burnaby, we do have a robust international program. So about 10 to 18% of the school population in every school are international students from over, right now, we've got over 32 different countries. We have a mandatory 1-week orientation, and this is 1 week before school starts. So it's the end of August if you're starting in September, or the end of January if you're starting in February. And this is where we do the English assessment. And this is where you will know whether you have strong enough English to be able to graduate in a year or not, and what courses you can take. That's when you do your course selection. You get a tour of the school, you get a study plan, you get information about your homestay rights and responsibilities. But most importantly, you get a chance to meet some of the other new international students who will go into your school. And so by the time school starts the following week, you've made connections, and it's not quite so scary starting school by yourself. As I mentioned, you can choose your courses if you're not going to graduate, but if you are going to graduate, there are a lot of required courses because you're trying to do a 3-year graduation program in 1 year. So it is an intense program, but we know that our Italian students can do this because you're all very, very good students from your Italian schools. You are used to studying hard and intensively, and our students are very successful in graduating. We have 8 high schools in Burnaby, and in our application form, you can choose up to 3 high schools. Most of the things in the high schools are the same, about 80% of the same. It's just really, you know, the school is bigger or smaller. If there is a specific subject that probably 1 or 2 schools have and the others don't, that's really all the differences there. And I work very closely with the counselors at MB Scamby to advise what schools would be best for you or your child. So they will write me an email going, I have Alessandro here and he's interested in ABC. What schools would you recommend? And then I can recommend 3 schools for you. Again, like every public school district in Canada, our schools are really, really good. Our government's put a lot of money into our public education. Over 94% of local students in Canada go to public schools. So they are very good. The standards are very similar right across Canada. In Burnaby, every school has got a theatre or a drama room. This is our Michael J. Fox Theatre, Burnaby South, our most beautiful theatre. Every school has got a dance studio. Every school has got music classrooms for orchestra, for band, for choir. One school has actually got a marching band. Every school has got the computer labs. You still should bring your computer to Canada when you come, but you need to leave that at home and use that for homework or FaceTiming your friends, etc. At school, there are enough computers for everybody to use. Every school's got a school cafeteria that serves hot food, but you will be in homestay, and homestay in our program is 3 meals a day. So lunch you bring to school, but you know, in Canada, our school lunches are basically what we give our children are basically things like a sandwich, fruit, juice, yogurt, etc. So sometimes our international students who are used to a bigger meal in the middle of the day, like you are initially, might say to the host families, oh, I'm not going to take my lunch tomorrow, I'm going to buy something at the cafeteria. And it's cheap, but I always say to the students, don't do that too often because you're paying for your 3 meals a day. We have home economics. Cooking class is really popular with those students who are not going to graduate because it's a very interactive class, and the boys love it because they get to meet the girls and get to eat all the food. Every school's got a variety of different art studios. I'll go back here. One of the things that we have in Burnaby is we have schools with super labs. We actually have 4 schools now because Alpha also has a super lab. A super science lab is a university level science lab. So we're very strong in the sciences in Central, Burn Creek, Mosscrop, and now Alpha. We have modern technology labs. Every school has 2 gymnasiums. One school, Burnaby South, has indoor running track. It does rain a lot on the West Coast. So even in the wintertime when it's raining, you can do your running inside there. Every school has got a weight training room. This could be one of your courses if you're not going to graduate, or it could be an after-school club, or it could just be somewhere you go and do your weight training before school or at lunchtime. Every school's got outdoor playing fields, all weather fields in 3 of our schools, so it's great for sports and for training. And every school has got what we call a multi-purpose room. And this is where we have your lunch, you can meet your friends, you socialize a little bit there. So lots of different elective courses, as all 3 speakers today have said. It's very different from the Liceos, but this is one of the reasons you go abroad, right? To do something a little bit different, try something different. School starts a little later than it does in Italy, so students, you can sleep in a little bit more in the mornings, which is great. We do go till 3 o'clock every afternoon. We have a lunch break from about 40 to 45 minutes, and then the after-school clubs, I think, as Pam mentioned, are the best place for you to practice your English, to make friends with Canadians and other internationals. Much easier to do that in a club than perhaps in a math classroom. And we encourage our international students to join as many clubs as they have time for. And this is just a sample of the different clubs that you could join. Most of our schools have between 15 and 25 clubs. I think that's amazing. I think it was Pam said one of her schools has 70 clubs, so that's fantastic. Our Homestay program is like everybody else's. Burnaby does not do its own homestay. We work with Langara University College, which is the public university here in Vancouver. It has the oldest homestay program in all of British Columbia. We have 2 dedicated homestay coordinators that work only with Burnaby schools, Burnaby students, and Burnaby families. And again, you have to be over 13 to go into Homestay. All the families have a criminal record check. They are, of course, providing a caring and supportive environment. You get your own bedroom and 3 meals a day, but of course you share the rest of the house with family. Burnaby is big. That's a big school district. We are the 4th largest school district in British Columbia. So the families are not located right next to the school. That does take between 10 and 45 minutes by public transit to get to and from school. We do have a strict curfew. Curfew means the time you have to be home. This is very different for our Italian students who are used to having a lot more freedom in the evenings. But we don't have the same sort of street culture as you do in Italy. We don't have a lot of things going on in the streets late at night. So anything that does not involve alcohol is basically closed by 11 o'clock. In British Columbia, the age of majority is 19, so you cannot go into any clubs or bars if you're under the age of 19. So there's nothing open. So for safety reasons, we want our students home and safe in the evenings. The Homestay application allows you to describe your ideal family. So there's a difference between wants and needs. A need is, I need a family without a dog because I'm allergic to dogs, right? A want is, I want a family with a dog because I love dogs, right? So our homestay coordinators try to match you with the ideal family and one that's in a relatively close area to the school. No more than 2 international students in the family, and of course, they must be from different countries and speak different languages. You have to have a minimum of a 6.8 average on your last 2 years of your school reports from Italy, based solely on your academic subjects. So we don't take art or music or physical education into account when we look at the academic GPA. Only students aged 13 to 17 years old, and you cannot have graduated in your home country. And no learning issues like dysgraphia or dyslexia or ADHD, no medical issues or behavioral issues. We find 99% of our students from Italy are coming during their year 4, and then most go back and finish their year 5 in Italy. Some, as they graduate here, decide to go on directly to university. There are some universities in Italy and in Europe that will take you directly from British Columbia. We won't go into the student testimonials because we don't have time today. So that's it really, really fast. I apologize for speaking so quickly. I know wherever you choose in Canada, you or your child is going to have a wonderful time, a good academic experience. They're going to be integrated into Canadian life, and they're going to get the support that they need and deserve. So, Alessandro, I'm going to turn it over to you so that you can